Welcome back, everybody, to our Dobbs Anniversary Surge by Pro-Life San Francisco. This is our third and concluding live stream of the day, and it's been a whirlwind just being able to navigate all the back end stuff and be able to ensure that we can push our message out there to people who want to expand this work that we've been describing, both Melanie and I, in our earlier streams. Our morning live stream began with sharing about our journey from the past, giving the background and history of our nonprofit organization in San Francisco. And Melanie followed that up at 1 p.m. with our live stream all about the fight in the present, about our mission in motion. And now, today at 6 p.m., our final live stream of the day for the third anniversary of the Dobbs versus Jackson Supreme Court decision, we're going to have our executive director, Melanie Salazar, share with us the vision for the future. And before we hand it off to Melanie, I want to thank the 4 people who have stood up and taken part already so far in doing the 24-24-24 pledge, giving $24 during this 24-hour period on June 24th, the anniversary of Dobbs versus Jackson, the case that overruled Roe versus Wade and is opening the door for legal protections for children who are denied their rights to live. And definitely, there's more work to be done because while the door is open, states like California are miles away from even approaching the frame. We want to help our communities and the government in response walk toward the door, step through, and realize what it means to actually protect children, support families, and provide care. Abortion is not care, it's harming people, devastating people. And there's just so much to go along with that message. But for now, we're going to kick things off to Melanie. Take it away.
Yay. Thank you so much, Robert. And no need to fret if you missed those earlier webinars this morning. They are available on our YouTube for your enjoyment. And this last live stream of the day will also be available for replay on our YouTube channel. So, as Robert said, this morning, we went over our journey from the past. This afternoon, we talked about our mission in motion, our fight in the present. And now, in this third and final live stream during our Dobbs Anniversary Surge, I will be talking about our vision for the future. Woo, yes, let's just dream big, okay? And I'm going to take you on a journey. We're going to talk about what pro-life possibilities there are in San Francisco, but it's going to take all of us. It's going to take the work of Pro-Life San Francisco to continue. So let me just share my screen and we will get started. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Alrighty, so let's jump in. And of course, before we jump right in, I have to remind you that on the Dobbs Anniversary Surge, we are looking for 24 people to commit $24. Ideally, join our monthly support team, make that an ongoing $24, and do that in the next 24 hours, ideally today on June 24th, the anniversary of the overturning of Roe v. Wade, thanks to the Supreme Court ruling in the Dobbs v. Jackson decision. And the way how you can give your $24 today is by going to support.prolifesf.org. And if you are tech savvy, scan the QR code on your screen. And this will pop up later on in the talk. You already know it, so don't fret if you need some time to simmer on that. So I told you I was going to take you on a journey. So let's just imagine an abortion-free San Francisco. Let's just imagine it. What would that be like? Robert touched on it. A city that could protect life, support families, offer real care, abundant life care. Wow. You know, in a place like San Francisco, there is not a lack of supportive services, of resources. Truly, there are a plethora of community and governmental services to help families in need, families who are facing unexpected pregnancies. There are so many, what I think to be life affirming services. But imagine if we could have all that minus the killing, minus the baby killing. It could happen, right? And how do we get there? And maybe if you are more of a pessimist and thinking like there will never be such a thing as an abortion free San Francisco, okay, well, could we say an abortion extremism free San Francisco? A San Francisco that's free of abortion extremism, that allows for abortion throughout all 9 months of pregnancy, that allows for the dissecting and trafficking, buying and selling of baby body parts for research? Could we at least imagine a San Francisco that's free of the abortion extremism? If an abortion free San Francisco seems out of reach, can't we all agree that it very much is possible, even more so, to fight against abortion extremism, find some common ground with hopefully people on all sides of the pro life, pro abortion aisle? But I have radical hope. And I'm going to talk about that later. I have radical hope that yes, even in a city like San Francisco, one day, even here, it can be abortion free, elective abortion free. But how do we get there? Let's talk about it. So these 4 points: step 1, a solid base of pregnancy aid; step 2, education to change minds; step 3, nonviolent action to change hearts; and step 4, political action to change laws. These 4 points were inspired by the book Rebuilding Pro-Life Nonviolence, written by our friend Elise Ketch. She was on our most recent episode of the Harvesting Justice podcast. Definitely go listen to it if you haven't already. It's our most listened to episode yet, and co-authored by John Kavanaugh O'Keefe. I believe he is deemed to be the godfather of the pro-life movement, or maybe I'm mixing him up with another person. Anyways, point being is these 4 points on the screen were inspired by this book, Rebuilding Pro-Life Nonviolence, available on Amazon. So let's get into how do these 4 points practically look like in San Francisco for that vision of creating that abortion-free pro-life San Francisco. So, step 1, a solid base of pregnancy aid. What does that look like here? Well, we already have life-affirming clinics that are servicing families, giving material aid. We actually have family resource centers. So there is a solid base of pregnancy aid. And what does that look like now from the lens of Pro-Life San Francisco? Well, one of my dreams through Pro-Life SF is one day, remember, we're talking about the vision for the future, to have community defense on the sidewalk every hour that our local abortion business is open. I know it may seem like a big dream right now, but I know that it's possible. And let me tell you how I know that. Where I came from in Texas, in San Antonio, we had a well-oiled machine at the headquarters of Planned Parenthood South Texas. We had at least one pro-life person every hour that the abortion business was open. And we had rotations. We would pass off the next person, knowing that the next hour, the next few hours were covered, that there would be at least one pro-life person to at least try to reach anyone and everyone who was there for the abortion business. And so I saw that in practice. I know that it's possible to have a well-oiled machine of pro-lifers every hour. So I know we could do it here. I know it's possible. I know that it can't just be me and Robert as the only pro-life people in San Francisco. I know it's not just us in our little circle of pro-life people. I know there has to be more of us out there. And I shared in the previous live stream that it's not uncommon. I meet people who say, I had no idea Pro-Life San Francisco existed. I've lived here for X amount of time. I've lived here my whole life. I'm pro-life and I had no idea. So I know they're out there. You may know some pro-life people in the San Francisco Bay Area too. Maybe you're one of them. And so one of my visions for that pro-life future in San Francisco is to have community defense on the sidewalk outreach every hour that the local abortion business is open, to tell people about their options, to give life-affirming literature in the hands of the potential clients and encourage them to know all their options of all the resources that are available to them in the city. And, you know, leafleting is not an uncommon practice. People do leafleting for their various causes or to raise awareness for various ideas, etc., anywhere and everywhere on public property. And so this is no different than leafleting to spread awareness. You just happen to be doing it outside of the local abortion business. And if pro-abortion people are really to be pro-choice, then they would be in favor of people knowing all their choices, all the options available to them. So this is one of my dreams. If I could wave a magic wand, we would have enough pro-life people every working hour that the local abortion business is open to share about the life-affirming resources, the plethora that is available in the San Francisco Bay Area, so that there is never at least a chance that somebody goes in and out of the abortion business without knowing that there are life-affirming options for them. Just even if someone were to say F you, or if someone were to say no thanks, I don't want that, fine. But at least there was the chance for a pro-life person to encounter them. Could we imagine if there was at least a chance for a pro-life person to be there and to hopefully maybe save a life? Imagine how many babies we could save, how many women and families we could help if there was a pro-life person outside on the sidewalk every hour to at least have the chance to save a baby. Imagine, it's a vision. So, part of step one, solid base of pregnancy aid. You may already know we have our life-affirming one-stop shop directory website, bayareareprocare.com, bayareareproductivecare.com. Both websites will take you, both names will take you to the same website. So part of my vision is that bayareareprocare.com pops up first on searches, whether it's Google or Yahoo or, dare I say, TikTok, Chat GPT. I would love for when someone is Googling pregnant, need help, pregnant, what are my options, pregnant, etc., that Bay Area Repro Care pops up first on that search. Imagine, why not? That would be so great that an option that is life affirming pops up first. And that's going to take working with people who are experts in search engine optimization. And I'm just going to go ahead and show off this website because I'm so proud of it. It was a dream and it is now a reality. So here we are, bayareareprocare.com, and find help now. will take you to what all the pregnancy resources are in the San Francisco Bay Area. Like I said, there is not a lack of resources. There's even local resources specific to Black and Latina moms. When I was navigating my own unexpected pregnancy in San Francisco, I benefited from a lot of these helpful resources. And we even have national resources because there's so many national life affirming orgs. And here, if you go learn more, help is closer than you think. Here is a page dedicated to pointing people to our local life affirming pro-life health clinics, certified, licensed by the California Department of Health clinics, and direct links to schedule an appointment. And so there is not a website like this that exists already. We at Pro Life San Francisco created this website, and it is amazing, if I do say so myself. And I do say so myself. So one of my dreams, visions for the future of Pro-Life SF is to work with professionals so that this website pops up first on search engines. When someone searches online, pregnant, need help, I think my period's late, I had unprotected sex, what have you, whatever the common phrases someone would search, I am looking for my options in San Francisco, that this would be one of the first, if not the first, website to pop up. Step one, a part of the vision of a solid base of pregnancy aid. Now, this may sound crazy, but I would love one day through Pro-Life San Francisco us to be able to provide housing for moms in unexpected pregnancies. To my knowledge, there is not a operating maternity home for young moms and women. I know there's various ministries. I think there used to be one in San Francisco. And I would love for us one day to have a property, have some sort of property that could provide housing for women in unexpected pregnancies. Housing in a place like San Francisco is such a delicate topic, and it's very difficult for many people. Many people rely on support for housing. And I would love, as pro-life people, to be a part of the solution for pregnant moms, for young women who are navigating unexpected pregnancies. Step two. Okay, so we just talked about solid base of pregnancy aid. That's step one for this pro-life vision in San Francisco. Step two is education to change minds. And you may already know, if you're following us on social media, that we are kind of savvy with the socials. We try to be. And I would love, as time goes on, that we continue to create even more awareness and moral outrage on social media. Believe it or not, but behind the scenes in the day-to-day work, our team consists of Robert and me. Believe it or not, people are typically shocked when I tell them that, because they're thinking there's a whole army of people who are helping out in the day-to-day, but really it's 90% Robert and me. And so I would love, going forward, that we have the bandwidth to continue to create even more social media content, to create more awareness to the public, and create more moral outrage about the happenings here in the San Francisco Bay Area. This screenshot is a clip right before the presidential debates, and Robert made a whole video about Kamala Harris back when she was our attorney general, when she was the head cop of California. And when presented with information showing that what looked to be illegal fetal organ harvesting activities were happening, buying, selling, instead of going after those persons part of the trafficking, she went after the journalist who exposed it. And so Robert made a whole video about that right before the presidential debates. And we would love to make more content, again, to make more awareness and more moral outrage. Step 2, education to change minds. How are we going to do this? Launch a new grassroots tool against UCSF's fetal organ harvesting to demand ethical research now. So we've been in the fight against UCSF for many years now. We continue to do public records requests. That's not going to stop. And it's all available on our website. Most recently this year in February, we started the Harvesting Justice podcast, and that is available on our website. You can go to our website, click on the media tab, click on podcasts. That'll lead you to multiple links to binge the Harvesting Justice podcast. But part of our effort with UCSF has been to try to move the needle. How can we tangibly make a difference to end the gruesome practice of the fetal organ harvesting that's happening at UCSF? So coming hopefully later this year, you will see a new grassroots tool to help demand ethical research now. Wink, wink. It will be a way for you, the people, to talk directly to those in power within the university system to say that you want an end to fetal organ harvesting and you want ethical research to happen now. So be on the lookout for that. But this is all a part of the vision for the future. Step 2, continuing education to change minds. How can we continue to educate the minds? Bring back Let There Be Life conferences. In the early days of Pro-Life San Francisco, Pro-Life SF led a couple conferences at UC Berkeley, thanks to the Students for Life club there. And here we are in 2025. COVID put a pause to those conferences and they just have not come back. But I would love for Pro-Life San Francisco to bring back the Let There Be Life conferences. And maybe you will see that in 2026. Be on the lookout. Wink, wink. But that would be part of the vision for a Pro-Life San Francisco in order to educate minds to bring back these pro-life conferences. But in order to do all these things, we need your support. Now, I'm about halfway through in these points. Step 1, we need a solid base of pregnancy aid. Step 2, we need education to change minds. And all those ideas, all this vision I have for the future of San Francisco with a maternity home, with an ongoing presence outside of our local abortion business on the sidewalk, with bringing back the conferences, with creating a grassroots tool so that you, the public, can tell UCSF that we demand for ethical research now. All these programs require your support. So if you want to see these programs come to fruition in San Francisco, we are encouraging you today on the Dobbs Anniversary Surge to give $24. Ideally, sign up to be an ongoing monthly supporter and do this within 24 hours today on June 24th. And you can give by scanning the QR code on your screen or go to support.prolifesf.org. Again, I'm only halfway through the points, the 4 points, the 4 steps that we need to rebuild a pro-life culture. What are the steps we need to make that pro-life San Francisco? And within those, I mentioned my vision for a sidewalk that there's never a chance that someone walks into the abortion business without at least the chance, the possibility to be encountered by a pro-life person. For education to happen on our social media, to bring back the conferences, more education to happen on our social media, and to have that grassroots tool to fight against UCSF, to hopefully really move the needle, to demand for an end to the fetal organ harvesting, continue to do our public records requests. All these visions, all these programs require your tangible support. And if you don't already know, Pro-Life San Francisco is a registered 501c3, 501c3 nonprofit. So any gift you give is a tax deductible write-off. Moving on, step 3, nonviolent action to change hearts. How are we going to do this? What's the vision? Solidarity with the victims through weeks of action. In the past, Pro-Life SF has led very powerful weeks of action, and we continue to do weeks of action, possibly to a lesser scale. But it would be great to continue to do these weeks of action to a grander scale, hopefully have a bigger turnout, be able to raise up the pro-life people within the SF Bay Area and invite people from outside too to join us. So I would love for these weeks of action to continue and for them to become even bolder going forward. Nonviolent action to change hearts. How are we going to do this? By raising up more pro-life people in San Francisco. This goes really along with our pseudo pillar of community. We at San Francisco, in a way, are a funnel for pro-life people all across the political, ideological, religious spectrum to have a place, have a home. And we, purely by existing, purely by just showing up, by having our social media, having our handles that say pro-life SF, is radical, is a form of resistance, dare I say, to say that, yes, we are in San Francisco and we are pro-life, and guess what? You can be too. So I hope for the future, the vision of an abortion-free San Francisco, that in our work today, we can raise up more pro-life people in San Francisco tomorrow. Step 3, continued nonviolent action to change hearts. How are we going to do this? Get ready. Creating alliances through the new Bay Area Life Affirming Coalition. So this has been a dream of mine, vision of mine for a while, many, many months. And I was inspired by what I saw in Texas, and I'm going to replicate that here. I'm just going to do a little copy paste. And so what the Bay Area Life Affirming Coalition is going to consist of is local pro-life student groups, local life affirming health clinics, local pro-life ministries, activists, prayer groups, sidewalk outreach persons, and any other Respect Life group, church, ministry, etc., to hopefully meet maybe once a quarter, maybe once every 2 months, not sure yet. I think maybe once a quarter for now. But this alliance will allow us to work together, hopefully have some unity and harmony within our local movement. I think that a lot of times as pro-life people in our respective organizations, we're kind of swimming in our own lanes, and that's great. We need to do our respective work. But I want us to also be communicating, be working as a team, and have that open, transparent communication. So hopefully through the new Bay Area Life Affirming Coalition, various groups will be able to come together and talk about how we can help each other out. What are our upcoming events? How can we work together? How can we be strategic? What are the ways how we can better support one another? So this will be coming up, and this again will be a part of step 3, nonviolent action to change hearts. Moving into step 4, our final step, to political action to change laws. And we want to continue to put pressure on the powers and principalities that be. Okay, we want to continue to stick it to the man. You may or may not remember in our most recent local election, we had Proposition O, also called the, what was it called? The Reproductive Freedom Act. And we at Pro Life SF were the voice fighting against Prop O. We were actually in your voter guide speaking out on why this was going to be harmful to the community and not helpful. One of the major reasons we were fighting against this is because we wanted to protect our local community pregnancy health clinics. What Prop O sought out to do, one of the big things was to put signs outside of our local life affirming pregnancy centers that say that these are limited service pregnancy centers. They do not offer abortions. And if you are looking for an abortion, here is the city website to go to find abortion. And nothing of the sort is outside of abortion facilities telling people where they can go if they want to parent and if they want to have their baby and where to find help. So very one-sided on bias against pro-lifers. So we were the loud voice fighting against Prop O. We did a lot of flyering in our community, putting up posters to the public and speaking to the press and media, talking on social media. So we want to continue to put pressure on the powers and principalities that be. And this is a part of step 4, political action to change laws. And as Pro-Life San Francisco, we want to continue to show that abortion can be nonpartisan, believe it or not. It's kind of so funny to me when I tell people, like, I do pro-life work, I lead a pro-life organization, and people automatically lump that in with being political and make a lot of assumptions about me and my beliefs and where I fall politically and that I'm so involved. Really, I don't feel like I'm a major political person. I get 99% of my political news from my husband, believe it or not. Thank you to my beloved spouse if you're watching. And really, abortion in and of itself is not a political issue. It is a human rights issue. And with fighting for human rights, yes, sometimes you have to get political in order to advocate for the change in laws that you want to see. But to its core, in and of itself, being pro-life is not political. So we, as Pro-Life San Francisco, purely by existing as a place for any and all people across the political spectrum to have a home, hopefully we can continue to show that, yes, abortion can be nonpartisan. And here I have on the screen messaging from various social justice movements: fund care, not killing. And I think that's a message along with universal health care, I imagine. No pride in genocide. And as pro-lifers, we do believe that abortion is another form of genocide. No human being is illegal. Some may deem the unborn person to, if they are not a person, then perhaps if they are truly violating a woman's bodily autonomy, then perhaps even if that human that being is a human, that human being is illegal and they don't have a right to life. So that could be some logic there. And respect existence or expect resistance, and we can apply that to the fetal person, that they do exist and we should respect their existence. So in and of itself, you see these messages and one may think these are not on their face pro-life messages, but I just read this all out to you and I see pro-life messaging in all these graphics. Fund care, fund support for families, and let's not fund abortion and the abortion industrial complex. There should be no pride in the genocide of the preborn. No human being is illegal, including our preborn brethren, and let's respect the existence of fetal embryo persons, or let's expect the resistance of their born privileged people. We as born people have a privilege. We are privileged born people to be able to speak out for the underprivileged preborn person who cannot speak for themselves. So again, we as Pro-Life San Francisco, hopefully just continuing to exist can be a source to show that yes, abortion can be nonpartisan, and whoever you are, whatever you believe, you too can be pro-life. In fact, being pro-life, believe it or not, is probably consistent with your values of equality, nonviolence, and non-discrimination. Continuing on step 4, political action to change laws. I mentioned, all the work that we did fighting against Prop O. Even before Prop O, before I was a part of Pro-Life San Francisco, we were also in the fight against the statewide Proposition 1 that allows for elective third trimester abortions. So imagine if we could do even more pro-life work through creating a 501c4 political arm. I think it would be great, instead of fighting against the bad things, well, continuing to do that, but also being able to fight in favor of the good and be able to endorse pro-life candidates, to be able to encourage people to look out for these good pro-life laws or laws that support families. So in a vision for a pro-life San Francisco, an abortion-free San Francisco, Pro-Life SF creating a 501c4 political arm could be a part of the vision towards that future. So I said a lot, okay? I just went over those 4 steps for rebuilding a pro-life culture, fighting for that vision of an abortion-free San Francisco, a San Francisco that's free of abortion extremism. Step 1 was a solid base of pregnancy aid. Step 2 was education to change minds. Step 4 was nonviolent action to change hearts. And step 3, and step 4 was political action to change laws. And I went over all the ways how we could do that here at San Francisco. It's possible. We could totally have the sidewalk filled with pro-life people every hour. We totally could have BayAreaReproCare.com be one of the first things in the search engines to pop up when someone is searching pregnant need help in San Francisco. We could start a 501c4. We could bring back the Let There Be Life conferences. We could do so many things. But the road ahead is tough. I acknowledge that. Okay? I mean, after the overturn of Roe v. Wade, thanks to the Supreme Court decision, Dobbs v. Jackson, in some states, in many states, life was protected. Pro-life laws were strengthened, and there is a total ban on legal abortion. in many states. And in some states, like California, abortion was strengthened. Abortion became a part of state constitutions. So I acknowledge that the road ahead is tough, but it is a road we would not even have the chance to take had it not been for the overturn of Roe. And so, even though the road ahead is tough, we can take inspiration from other movements that fought for what was right, other movements that, even though the road ahead was tough, even though maybe the light at the end of the tunnel seemed so far away, they kept going. And we should keep fighting too for the preborn. And earlier I mentioned that I have a radical hope that this too, in San Francisco, is a possible future. Why do I have this radical hope, you may ask? Where does she get this hope from? Well, from my Lord, but also from history. Because I look back at history, we can all look back and we can see that there was a time when people, because of the color of their skin, were treated differently, were treated as slaves, were segregated. Women were not allowed to vote, to have a bank account, to take out a checkbook. There were times that women were discriminated against simply for being women. There were times that people of color were discriminated against simply for being people of color. There were times that there were genocides and holocausts simply because people were different. And now, in the present day, we look back and we are appalled that good people who existed at that time did not speak up. And we are so thankful for the brave folks who did. So here we are in our current time, 2025, when abortion is still very much the law of the land in California. But I believe that, similar to other injustices in the past, one day people will look back and they will be appalled that good people did not speak up for the babies. And they will be so thankful for people like us who did. And so victory came. Women can vote now. Segregation is gone. Not saying there's still things that need to be worked on for different groups, okay? But victory came. The light at the tunnel was finally reached. And similar for us too. Total victory, total liberation for the preborn can happen. And I have a radical hope that, similarly how, not the same thing, but how there is the National Museum of History for various causes, various horrible things that happened in the past. And we honor those museums. We visit those museums. We remember to never repeat those things from the past. And we are thankful for those figureheads who led the way. I believe that too. One day, we are going to have our National Museum of Pro-Life History. Okay, let me hear it. Applause, applause, applause. Yes, it can happen, okay? We can get our National Museum of Pro-Life History. And, you know, there's a lot of good, everyday pro-life people who are doing the hard work in their backyard, who are saving babies, helping moms, and they're not putting it out on social media. They are not being seen or praised on national stages. They may never end up in the National Museum of Pro-Life History. And heck, I don't count it on myself ending up in the National Museum of Pro-Life History. But what I can count on is that I'm going to do my part in the present day so that we hopefully get to the point in history and the point in that future where we do get to have the National Museum of Pro-Life History. So it's a long road ahead, but we got to do our part today so that we can have that pro-life future tomorrow. So there is so much we want to do in San Francisco. I mentioned those 4 steps. Step 1, solid base of pregnancy aid. Step 2, education to change minds. Step 3, nonviolent action to change hearts. And step 4, political action to change laws. And there's so much we can do. We can have a pro-life ongoing presence at the sidewalk. We can bring back the Let There Be Life conferences. We can make a grassroots tool to demand for ethical research now at UCSF. We can create a 501c4 political arm of Pro-Life San Francisco. There's so much potential that we can do to try to save babies and help women here in the San Francisco Bay Area. But it's going to take your help. Yes, hopefully you knew where I was going with that because today is the Dobbs Anniversary Surge, the first ever Dobbs Anniversary Surge. This is our 3rd and final webinar live stream today, June 24th, 2025. And we are hoping for 24 people. Thank you to the 4 people who have given thus far. So we're hoping for 20 more to give $24 in the next 24 hours, ideally today on June 24th. And you can do that by scanning the QR code on your screen if you have not already, and or go to support.prolifesf.org. Please help us bring our vision for the future to be a reality. Help us to continue our programs here in the city with so much death, in America's abortion training capital. Let us continue to be a light, be a voice for life here in the darkness. So that is all I have for you on this Dobbs Anniversary Surge. Please go to support.prolifesf.org and give your support today. That will be tax deductible. All righty. Thank you so much.
Thank you again, Melanie. And I wanted to touch on one thing you just spoke about, that one slide with the kind of little sketches of those figureheads, like large movement figureheads like Martin Luther King Jr. and Gandhi. They're oftentimes treated as icons, as insurmountable, like almost like people sometimes don't fully take the time to deeply meditate on the fact that these are people who lived and breathed and bled and sweat every day to represent not just themselves and their voice and their vision for the future, but to represent thousands of people within their movement fighting for the same thing. We are also people living, breathing, sweating, bleeding, if it ever comes to that. I do recall, the time one of our colleagues got beat on the sidewalk for doing a 40 Days for Life vigil. It was about maybe 6-7 years ago.
Very true.
I recall news stories just last year, just a couple seasons ago, of a man I believe on the East Coast who got beat and bloodied in his face. Don't forget the sacrifices that they made are so important. They can't be just simplified. It's, if you know what I'm trying to say, these are serious sacrifices, and we have a chance to do the same thing. We have the opportunity to, and it doesn't even have to be from, a food strike or putting ourselves in bodily risk. If you're doing sidewalk counseling or even rescues, there's a chance that will happen too, that you're taking on that possibility. But just contributing to the programs that you want to see take place, that is a very low risk opportunity to move things forward, to turn our community into a place where more women and children and families are cared for. And be thankful for that you don't have to put yourself in line of bodily harm unless you wish. to be physically boots on the ground, but there are so many ways to be a direct part of solving the problem our community has surrounding abortion. So please, we encourage you to take the pledge to join us, become a supporter, visit support.prolifesf.org and commit to a donation of $24 by the end of this 24-hour period on June 24th, the third anniversary of Dobbs versus Jackson. And I'll throw it back to you, Melanie.
All righty. Well, we have been on such a journey today. Started off this morning, 9 a.m., talking about our journey from the past. And this afternoon, we went over our mission in motion, our fight in the present. What are the programs we're actually doing? What does the work that Pro-Life SF does in the day? And today, right now, we went over in this third and final live stream our vision for the future. What are the things we want to do? So today we've talked about what we have done, what we are doing, and what we want to do going forward. And none of this is possible without your support. So if you want to keep our programs going, if you want to bring this vision for a pro-life future in San Francisco to a reality, please support us on our first ever Dobbs Anniversary Surge by giving $24 at support.prolifesf.org. Please scan that QR code. We are so appreciative of any and all amount of support that you can give today. It is really so appreciative. It is extremely meaningful. As I said earlier, we don't have a grand team behind us. It's really Robert and I in the day-to-day who are pushing along, who are chugging along and trying to do our best for the future of Pro-Life San Francisco. And if you want to continue to have Pro-Life San Francisco to exist, to have our programs and create that vision for the future, please give $24 at support.prolifesf.org and scan that QR code. So I hope that you have been inspired today. I hope you've been lit on fire. I hope that we were able to laugh together and be motivated and have hope that Dobbs v. Jackson was just the beginning. The overturn of Roe was sort of the end of the beginning because it seems that the road ahead is long, or the road is going to be hard. But like I've said, it's a road we do not even get to take had it not been for the Dobbs v. Jackson ruling. So I'm so thankful for the Dobbs ruling. I'm so thankful to the Supreme Court, and I'm thankful to every single pro-life person who made a difference, who helped make the overturning possible. Every single person who may end up in the National Museum of Pro-Life History, or maybe not. But I believe even if we don't get a great reward on earth, that we will have a great reward in heaven. So hope you've been inspired for a pro-life future. To help us out in Pro-Life San Francisco, please give on our first ever Dobbs Anniversary Surge Day, $24 at support.prolifesf.org. Scan the QR code and get your tax write-off. Alrighty, that's all I have.
Hashtag remember the babies. We're not here for any reason but to shine a spotlight on the depths of need to protect these children. Sometimes for our own mental health and well-being, we have to compartmentalize and keep emotion out of it. But wow, the thing that drives us every day, that drives this live stream, is remembering the babies, those who have been lost and those at risk presently. We need to step up for them. That's why an organization like this and the others in the city, specifically the church-bound organizations, we all need to persevere and keep going in our mission to serve these families and their children. So thanks again. Remember the babies, and happy Dobbs anniversary.
Happy Dobbs Day.
Bye.
Bye.